Right. Hello, citizens of the Nigelverse. It's Nigel once again, and this is going to be another wrestling reviews. More specifically, another Royal Rumble review because we are, of course, still in the month of January, and with the Royal Rumble fast approaching, and I figured we would do some Royal Rumble reviews like we do just about every year. And of course, as you kind of seen already, we've already done a couple. We've got some matches, not just at the Royal Rumble, but also some Royal Rumble matches themselves, and this will be one of them. Now, it was back in 1992 where, for the first time ever, the WWF Championship was up for grabs. The championship was vacated, and so the Royal Rumble would determine who would become the WWE or the WWF champion, I should say. And excuse me, Ric Flair, with a tear in his eye, won that Royal Rumble match. As now, fast forward to 24 years later, or in 2016, the WWE Championship is once again up for grabs. This time a bit different, and instead of a title being vacated, it is very much not vacated. In fact, Roman Reigns is the WWE champion, but the Authority has stacked the deck against Roman Reigns, and so he will be defending his WWE championship within the Royal Rumble match. Now, what would happen when one versus all took on a completely new meaning? Let's find out. 10 years after the fact, does it still hold up as well? That's the other question we're seeking to answer. Let's find that out as well. I'm, of course, talking about the 2016 Royal Rumble match. Now, as always, I'm not professional wrestling reviewer or analyst or anything like that, just a man who enjoys a good time. And I had a pretty decent time going back to rewatch this match. Now, I watched this when it was live. Don't remember if I made it all the way to the end. I think I did. Um, I, I'm pretty sure I did. But it was interesting. It was definitely something to go back 10 years later to see how things unfolded within this Royal Rumble match. It definitely kind of feels like a different Royal Rumble in a way, with the championship being on the line. But does it still hold up? Let's find out. And I'm not quite to the day of the 10th anniversary. That's actually not until the 24th. But figure I'd get it out of the way early. So, without further ado, let's get right into it. Now, if you've seen these reviews of mine before, you kind of already know how this works, or at least you have an idea of how this works. If you haven't, I'm going to be talking about what I liked and disliked about the match, as well as kind of reflecting on how we got here. So essentially, how we got here, or like I mentioned in my opening spiel, is that Roman Reigns is the WWE champion. He's been battling the Authority for quite some time. He won it first at Survivor Series 2015. However, Sheamus, who is Mr. Money in the Bank, cashed in on Roman, and at the behest of Mr. McMahon, who has been going against Roman. And so Sheamus became the WWE champion. This was during Sheamus's Mohawk phase. He's so Sheamus was the champion, and Roman failed to get the title back from him at TLC in 2015. However, it would be in the I want to make sure I get the make sure I want to get the date right here. But it was an episode of Raw, I believe, within 2016. Want to get the exact date just to be sure. Or it was 2016 when Roman Reigns officially got the championship. Uh, let's see, Money in the Bank. No, it's not that one. Uh, next time Raw. Uh, Uh, okay, yeah. So it was the night after TLC. So that was December 14th of 2015. When Roman Reigns got his WWE Championship back. Okay, so it was still 2015. However, he defended against Sheamus, beat Sheamus, and so to get the title off of him in kayfabe, that is Mr. McMahon and word that Roman Reigns defend his WWE Championship in the Royal Rumble match. And to the surprise of no one, Vince did a drawing specifically for Roman Reigns. This was back when they were doing like the Royal Rumble drawings live on air, like live on TV. I don't think they do them as much anymore, but this is back when they were still doing that. Roman Reigns, it's revealed that Roman Reigns is coming into the Royal Rumble match at number 1. So Roman will have to go the distance and last through who pretty much the entire field here. And so will Roman be able to survive? We will find out. But so I guess starting with also what I liked, nice callback to the previous year, where the match ended with Roman Reigns and Rusev, to the chagrin of many. But it also starts this year off with Roman and Rusev, and it actually takes until Byron Saxton brings it up for that to be known. But Roman and then Rusev start things off. But then at number 3. AJ Styles. So AJ Styles, a lot of people had speculated around this time. I believe it had been leaked by the Wrestling Observer newsletter that AJ's contract with New Japan was coming up. AJ was on his way out. That he might be jumping ship to WWE. It was him, Luke Gallows, and Carl Anderson. Now Gallows and Anderson wouldn't show up till later on in the year, but AJ Styles making his debut in the Royal Rumble, it got an amazing reaction. At first, it didn't quite get the reaction. And it wasn't until Styles came out because of the music. People didn't know whose music that was, and then the Titantron just said "I am" for a little bit, and then said "phenomenal," and that's when everybody popped. And AJ Styles made his way on to the screen. He's to officially be in WWE, and now 10 years later, this is AJ's last year before his retirement. And so crazy thing, and I remember I watched at that time. Now I remembered AJ mainly from TNA. I didn't watch TNA super closely. I wasn't really a TNA kid. I think kind of for the same reason I didn't really watch Raw a whole lot, because TNA was on school night. I think at the time, like when I was watching, I think TNA was on Thursdays, if I'm not mistaken. But I did remember AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, and AJ Styles. I vividly remembered, and to an extent, Kurt Angle. But I remembered AJ. Hey, so to see him finally in WWE was pretty cool to see. He with the long hair, no more short hair. AJ now he had the long hair. To be fair, although to be fair, AJ had been growing it out for a while. But to me, who hadn't really watched, I didn't watch Ring of Honor. I didn't watch New Japan, and so to see AJ with the longer hair, it was something. But AJ's in the match, and having him, for starters, having him last as long as he did, he lasts 28 minutes. It's in the Rumble. He lasts for quite a bit. It's but also to have him interact with Roman so much, was really cool to see, and it goes to show that they were treating AJ like a big deal, which was also really great to see. Yeah, lo and behold, AJ would have a hell of a rookie year in WWE, winning the WWE Championship later on in the year, facing Roman not once but twice later on in the year for the championship uh, at Payback and not Money in the Bank, Extreme Rules. Although he wouldn't win the WWE Championship from Roman Reigns, he would actually win it from fellow former Shield member Dean Ambrose. But so to see even from the jump how big they're treating AJ Styles' debut, that's really big. There is one problem with it, and we're gonna get to it. And I'm sure a lot of you already know what it is and are anxiously and patiently waiting for me to talk about it. We will get there because we'll get into it when I get to the dislikes. But for the time being, AJ Styles' debut was handled, for lack of a better term, phenomenally. He, and to see AJ interact with so many people in the Rumble, such as Tyler Breeze, such as Curtis Axel, Chris Jericho, who AJ would have a very short-lived team and then rivalry with later in the year, or like one of AJ's first feuds within the company, eventually being eliminated by Kevin Owens, and it was funny how Kevin Owens, before he threw AJ, I was like, "Welcome to WWE," and it just tossed them out. That was pretty funny. But yeah, so great. In terms of debuts, you probably couldn't ask for much more. The only other way you could have handled it even better is if AJ had won the championship in this match, but you kind of knew he wasn't going to. But Also worth mentioning, every single person in this match technically has had a WWE Championship match in this Rumble match. So, neat little bit of trivia. But there are some other fun traditional Rumble moments, uh, such as when our Truth comes in and pulls out the ladder. I almost forgot this was the Rumble where he did that. Absolutely classic moment, absolutely hilarious moment. Our Truth pulling out the ladder, climbing up, looking for the briefcase, but alas, there is no briefcase or championship to be found. That was pretty funny. There was the traditional Kofi Kingston spot, which they don't really do anymore. Or I think after was it the 2023 Rumble where Kofi landed on the barricade and like really messed up his ribs and ended up getting eliminated anyway. I think that's when they officially like stopped doing that. But but Kofi, he avoids elimination again. This time, because Kofi's in the New Day at this point. Kofi, he is on the shoulders of Big E. On an unrelated note, this is when they had their pink and blue like Bootios colors, which I'll put on the screen here. Probably one of my favorite New Day attire. It's been I did the New Day tier list. That was a few years ago though. Maybe it's time for a redo. But so Kofi, he avoids elimination, but kind of gets eliminated off screen after Jericho does like the triangle drop kick off off of hits Kofi, who flies off of Big E's shoulder first. But it is pretty funny. Like they're running around. Kofi grabs a drink from a fan. He grabs popcorn from another fan, and so that was pretty goofy. The Wyatt family does show up into the Rumble, well, and we see them dominate for a bit before they're mostly eliminated by Brock Lesnar. Or that being, and this is when they had the four members, so it was Bray Wyatt, Luke Harper, Eric Rowan, and Strowman. This was around when Braun Strowman was first a character. He was a Rosebud for a little bit, but this is when he became like an established character as part of the Wyatt family, the black sheep of the Wyatt family, and by this time, Braun Strowman was kind of being treated like a big deal. He was like this like huge muscle. He wouldn't really break out on his own until later on this year when he would officially go solo, be part of the Raw brand after the brand split. But it was cool to see here, and Braun even and chokes out and then eliminates the Big Show. Big Show, and the Wyatts also eliminate Mark Henry, yeah, which is pretty cool. But Brock Lesnar shows up, gets rid of Harper, Rowan, and Strowman, and that's all before Bray Wyatt comes out. And then they just come back in anyway and dump him out. The inconsistent rules, but what can you do? Who so there is that moment. And partway through the match, I believe right before Big Show comes out. So between, I think it was probably before Stardust came out. Right around that time, the rest of the League of Nations at the time, that being Sheamus, Rusev, Del Rio, oh, uh, Oh, they show a very, very underrated team in a lot of people's opinions, and Del Rio and Sheamus would be in the match later on. I believe by this time, Barrett had been kicked to the curb, if I'm not mistaken. But the League of Nations come out and they beat down Roman Reigns. They hit him with a variety of moves. Those splash him through the table. Rusev does splash him through the table. Also, Roman is going to be out for the next pretty much almost till the end of the match before number 30 comes out. Because Sheamus comes out at number 29, and that's when Roman comes back and nails him. Yeah. So I think oh no, Barrett should have been there. Well, Everybody, don't remember seeing him at the Rumble. Well, well, but yeah, so Barrett was still there, but for whatever reason, I don't remember seeing him at the Rumble. So maybe I just have bad eyesight or bad memory or both. But yeah, so the League of Nations attacks Roman. He's out for a little bit. He does eventually come back, but they treat it like a big deal. Like, oh no, they beat down Roman. Oh, how's he ever gonna get back into the match? You know he's coming back, but nevertheless, so there's that moment. Sami Zayn shows back up. I believe that was the first time we had seen him since the Open Challenge against John Cena. This is around when John Cena was doing his U.S. title Open Challenge, and Sami uh, excuse me, Sami Zayn lost to Cena in the Open Challenge, and I believe was injured in the match as well. But he eventually comes back, gets rid of Kevin Owens. Of course, they have their spot. The Sami Zayn Kevin Owens Fight Forever spot that they've done. But eventually, later in the match, Roman shows back up just in time for number 30, which is the returning Triple H, who was taken out by Roman, and they say a month ago. So I believe it was around either during the championship match or right after. But Triple H is back at number 30, and pretty much from the air, Triple H does dump out Roman Reigns. He does he dumps Roman out, does an aggressive crotch chop, says the F word, and then but it's not audible. But that was pretty funny. But then eventually Triple H gets rid of Dean Ambrose, which it's worth mentioning. Kevin Owens is limping on his way to the ring when he comes out, and then Dean Ambrose has his arm in wrap. It eventually kind of falls off, but that's because they were involved in the Last Man Standing match earlier in the show, but for the Intercontinental Championship. But eventually Triple H dumps out Dean Ambrose to win the Royal Rumble match and become WWE champion. This would be the last time Triple H would be WWE champion in his career before his retirement. And the reign didn't last that long, and you pretty much know where this is gonna go. To WrestleMania 32, and lo and behold, Triple H and Roman wrestled at WrestleMania 32, and it was it was something, but that's for another time. But yeah, overall, pretty decent, pretty fun for the most part. Rumble match, not a lot in terms of surprises. They kind of in a way blew their load kind of early with AJ Styles. Sami Zayn coming back was also a pretty neat surprise. He's still listed here on the wiki. He's still listed technically as NXT, but he would eventually kind of integrate himself within the Raw roster. As the year would go on. But for the Rumble match, some pretty fun moments, a couple decent moments, and Triple H being the one to win and kind of screwing over Roman, that being the Authority as well, screwing over Roman. It adds that story and continues to tell that story, leading to Triple H versus Roman at WrestleMania again. Oh joy. But yeah, pretty all right, pretty decent, I would say, Rumble match. Now, in terms of what I didn't like, you already know what time it is. Let's get it out of the way. Hey, AJ Styles was a very big moment for AJ Styles, like coming in, and they make this big deal about it. The crowd is cheering for AJ Styles. Excuse me, he comes out very big deal. They're putting him over on commentary, so of course it's the perfect time to focus on Roman's reaction for like the first like 5 to 6 seconds of it. Like Roman Reigns' confused face, like, who's that? And and instead of showing the screen, they do cut in time to the rampway as AJ is coming out. But this moment was infamously panned because why is it on Roman's reaction the whole time? Why is Roman's reaction the one that counts instead of, oh, I don't know, the crowd and the screen as it reveals AJ Styles is there? Or like, what the heck? Almost derailing AJ Styles' moment. Thankfully, it doesn't, but it's like, why are we this is a big moment. Why are we focusing on Roman's reaction in this moment? And yeah, there's that. There is the aforementioned kind of inconsistent rules with like Brock Lesnar being eliminated, so there's that as well. And then honestly, did Triple H really need to win this match? Like, Dean Ambrose was literally right there. They would cheer for Dean Ambrose when he fought Triple H at Roadblock, which I should probably review that at some point as well. But Dean Ambrose was literally right there. Hell, I could probably think of a couple other people that you could give the win. But was Triple H truly the best choice? Like, did Triple H really need to be champion for this match, or win the championship in this match? Now, I guess granted, considering what happened last year, and how that was so hated, they probably didn't necessarily want to have Roman win twice in a row, but it probably would make more sense than Triple H. But nevertheless, that I think is going to do it for this review. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Does it still hold up 10 years later, or this match that is? For the most part, there's plenty of good, some not as good, but it definitely beats the previous year, for sure. But, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it for this review. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please do me a favor. Like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends, and turn on those post notifications so you know every time I upload a video so you never miss an upload. And let me know in the comment section below your thoughts on this match and my review of the match. Do you like the match? Do you like my review of the match? Let me know. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you guys later. Peace.